What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Michael Carrasco. I'm a futures day trader. And in today's video, we are going to be going over my weekly performance for this past trading week, as well as our weekly analysis for the upcoming trading week. Now, before we jump into the charts, a couple things that I want to point out to you guys is I have been trading my own personal account, and I decided to make that switch moving from platforms to my personal account. So, in able to sort of build my confidence trading my own money, I decided to do a couple things. Number one being exclusively trading micros, and number two will be sticking to use one micro contract per trade. Now, the performance that you guys are about to see is not going to be tens of thousands of dollars that I've made per trade. It's going to be very minimal, but I just want you guys to see what my performance was and what I was looking in the markets when I took those trades. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the charts and go over that information with you guys. What is happening? So now we are right here on my trading journal. If you're looking for a good trading journal, the one that I use is TradeViz. It's been very good. The price is very, I would say, it's fair pricing. The only downside is that they don't have an automatic sync for CQG. That's the data feed that my broker currently uses. But I do have to type it in manually. Apart from that, it's a very good platform. I enjoy it. It gives me a lot of data, a lot of input, and a lot of things that I can look at when it comes to figuring out why am I losing on those days, figuring out what setups are working the best for me as well. So as you guys can see, this is essentially an overview. Close P&L for the week is 61.25. We had average, my profit factor for the week is 1.68. Average trade P&L is $5.57. Again, like I said, these are small gains, small losses, just for a specific reason. Since I'm just now switching from prop firms into my own personal account, I'm just trying to build up my confidence, and slowly I'm gonna start increasing the size that I am putting on these trades. But overall, a total of 11 trades, 4 were winning trades, 7 being losers. However, we ended up being in profits due to the fact that I've been working on minimizing my risk and closing the trade out once I get invalidated. So let's go over, we can go over this for some. So let's start going over these trades right here. As you guys can see, let's go to the calendar view. That way you guys can see it a little better. So I traded only 4 days this previous week. Monday, I did not trade. Tuesday, we got a winning day of $88.75, a losing day on Wednesday, another winning day on Thursday, and we closed out the week with a loser. Unfortunately, what I noticed on the 2 days that I ended up in the red, and as you guys can see, it's very similar, very similar losing days as when it comes to the amount of money that I lost. And I noticed those 2 days we were extremely rallying up, and I was waiting for a specific zone to potentially short the market. I did get confirmation to get short. However, the market validated those moves. One of the things that I'm going to start doing is, if we are rallying from the open of the session, I am going to wait for those areas that I'm looking to short. I'm waiting for those areas to get invalidated and possibly entering long instead of going counter trend. But that's the only explanation I have for those days. It was days that we were rallying up extremely. Buyers were in control most of the session. I tried to short the zones that I was looking to short. It didn't happen, but that was what I was looking at on my trading plan. Apart from that, that's pretty much it about as far as performance. We can go over, let's go tag chart. Let's see which setups were the most, I would say the best setups, worst setups of the week. So as you guys can see right here, this is another feature that I like about this. I tag on my trades and figure out, that way I can figure out which setups I'm making the most money with, which setups I'm making the least amount of money. You guys can see when we come to losing and winning right here, supply zone, I lost more than I made money. Same thing with failed supply zone. Failed demand zone, however, we made some good money. And then same thing, demand zone, pretty much even 1-1. But if we're looking at the aggregated P&L, the one that made me the most money was the failed demand zone. Again, this is just data that you guys can use, figure out which setups work best for you guys, which setups work the worst for you guys. But yeah, let's hop into the charts, that way you guys can see where I took those trades. And all right, so here, this is the charts. These are the zones that I essentially marking out all my trades right here for you guys. Now, this is the first trades that I took in the week. The first one was a long. I closed it out, something short, closed it out down here. I did post on my Instagram a little breakdown. So if you guys are not following me on my Instagram, go ahead and follow me. I pretty much keep you guys updated on there. Or if you guys want to essentially see my game plan, my daily analysis, go ahead and join the Discord. I post essentially the whole commentary for why I got into a trade, why am I looking for in the market, why am I seeing it in the markets as well. So if you guys want to follow that, please join the Discord. All right, so that was pretty much my performance for the week. It wasn't the best week. However, if we were looking at the R value, I ended up with an R value of $8.58, meaning for every dollar that I risked, I was making $8, which is pretty good in my opinion. I am honestly trying to stick to about 10 hours per week minimum, and that's only gonna come with me minimizing the losses and essentially reading the markets a little better. But that's it for this part of the weekly performance. Now let's look into what levels I'm watching for the following week. So you guys know, we're gonna break it down completely. We're gonna start out, so let's hop on in here and go over that. All right guys, so let's get into the weekly analysis part of the video. So as you guys know, I always like starting with the weekly level, weekly high, weekly low. So for this week, we do have we have the highs right up here. We got the weekly highs right at 64.26 and 3/4. And then for the low on this week, we'll be looking at this level right down here at 62.51 and 1/4. Now, the reason why I like, I feel like I explained this in a previous video. I like marking the high and the low of each week just because it can kind of give me a sense of direction of what type of week is gonna be. If we break up below a previous week low, that could tell me that we are potentially going to be selling off the rest of the week. Or if we break above, that gives me confirmation that we're going to keep on climbing higher. That's why I keep it on there. Usually I mark my previous day high, previous day low during my daily analysis. But let's look at the zones that I will be watching this upcoming week. There are a few zones that I will be watching. If we start from the bottom right here, of course, I'm always watching the low. That's a zone that we will always, I would say you always have to watch, in my opinion. But that zone right there, we're looking at essentially previous week low. We kind of bounced off of it right away and started buying up. But this is a level that I'll be watching. If we fall below that, potentially short opportunities. Now we are pretty high up in the week with the close on the highs of the week. So this, the chances that we come back down here could be very minimal, but overall still I'll be watching that level. Second zone that I will be watching for will be this zone right here. As you guys can see, we used to have support, we broke above it. Well, we used to have resistance for a little bit, then we broke above it and used to have support. Again, potential zone where we can see some resistance if we come down here and trade around this zone. Now, another thing that I do want to tell you guys, these are discretionary levels that I'm watching. Doesn't mean that the market is going to have any sort of reactions from this level, but it's just a level that I'll be watching because as you guys can see, we had some activity there. It could potentially mean that we will have some activity in that zone if we revisit it. Another zone that I like a lot for next week, and I'll be definitely watching, is going to be this zone right here. Again, we used to have support, broke above it, used to have resistance, broke below again, broke it above again, and we again used it as resistance. This could be a good place for the market to reverse from. If we have some selling momentum, this could be where we could potentially find buyers. Another zone that I like right here will be the highs of last week. Again, we rejected at first on that zone. We could potentially reject it again depending how the market's open. If the market's open on Sunday above this zone, and I'm potentially looking for some resistance there and keep the momentum going up. Now, if we break above, if we open above it and break below it, this could potentially be a zone that I am looking to short in the upcoming trading week. Another zone, another level that I will be watching for, it wasn't a level from last week, is from about 2 weeks or so ago, will be the ATH zone. Again, we had a major resistance, that sell-off. We had a major sell-off from ATH. This is a zone that I'll be watching for the upcoming weeks, just to see how market reacts there. Again, if we are trading in that zone, I'm primarily going to be looking for some resistance there until the market tells me that it's going to keep on going up. Now, if it goes above ATH, I don't like trading it on the breakout. I like waiting for a pullback into that zone, and I want to see buyers defending this zone for a potential long entry. Yeah, but those are my weekly levels that I'll be looking at. If we start from the top to the bottom, first zone will be 64.69 and a quarter, 64.55. Again, this is the ATH zone that I'll be watching this upcoming week to see if we can either break above it or see if sellers can still defend that level. Again, if we break above it, I am looking for a retest of this zone for a potential long entry. If we find out that sellers are very active at ATH level, I'm looking for the short positions. Another level that I'll be watching, this will be essentially a minor level, will be 64.27 and a quarter, 64.17 evens. Again, depending how market opens on Sunday, if we open above it, I want to see a pullback and buyers to hold this level for a potential move to the high side into ATH. If we break above it, I'm looking to sell into the next level. The next level we are watching is 63.77 and a quarter, 63.69 and a half. Again, we used it as support first. We sold off from it, came back into it, broke above it, came back, broke below it, broke above it again, and then we used that resistance. So I'll be watching this level. It could be a potential resistance zones. Now, if we break below it, it could be a potential short into this level right here. Next level will be 63.20 and three quarters, 63.06 evens. Again, we used that resistance, broke above it with a lot of demand. Essentially, this could be a demand zone that we watch for the upcoming week, but we never broke below. We used that as a strong resistance. So if we come down here, I'm primarily looking for longs unless we break below it. Other zone is previous week lows, and then this zone will be 62.51 and three quarters, 62.39 and a half. Again, if we make it down here, primarily looking for longs of this zone unless we break below it. Being previous week lows being here, if we do make it down here, I am expecting buyers to hold this zone. So you guys can see when we open, We bounced off of it pretty good, and then we bought up for the rest, pretty much for the beginning of the week until we have some selling action whatsoever. Okay, but yeah, those are the levels that I'll be watching this upcoming week. Again, these are discretionary levels that I'm watching. Just because I'm watching them doesn't mean that the market is gonna give a reaction there. It could happen like how it happened here. We were on a sell-off, we just sold right through that zone. It could happen that way, but I mainly mark these levels because I saw some sort of movement in the market, and you guys can see it. Boom, we saw some movement here. We sold off from there. Again, use that resistance. We got a rally from there. I'm watching it just because the market previously gave me had a movement of those zones. So those are zones that I'll be watching. Doesn't mean that the market is going to have the same reaction once again, but it's just good to spot where major action or a major move was developed in the market, and it's good to watch those levels just in case we come into those levels. You can kind of gauge what type of action you can expect there, or form a thesis as to for a trade in around that zone. All right, guys, so those are the weekly levels that I'll be watching this upcoming week. Again, it doesn't mean that these levels are going to give me the same reaction that I'm looking for, but our level where I saw some major market activity happen, that's why I'm watching them. And the reason why I like marking these levels down is because I can start formulating a thesis or a trade idea around these zones that could potentially pay me good. But apart from that, let me know if you guys are watching some of the same levels, or if you're watching another level in the upcoming week on the ES. Please leave it in the comment section below. And also, if you guys are looking for a genuine trading community, go ahead and join my Discord community. It's completely for free. However, there is an application process, just because I only want serious traders, people that are looking to learn how to trade, people that already know how to trade and are looking to find a sense of community when it comes to trading. Apart from that, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed as well, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you guys get updated with the latest and newest coming from the channel. Apart from that, that's all I have for today, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next video. Peace.